Welcome back, everyone, on another episode of the Unquestioned podcast with Debaere and Willem Himpe. Luigi, how are you doing, my man?
I'm great, but how are you, Mr. America?
I am even better. For the listeners that don't know, I was finally, after 10 years, I went back to America, the promised land.
And not just America.
Not just America. California.
Yeah. Tell me, what was
yes.
that like? What did you try? What did you do? What was the
Yeah, I will not share with everyone the whole trip. Some things should not be shared. No. It was amazing. The reason why I went to the West Coast was because I had a conference there, actually, a big corporate conference where the whole global go-to-market department came together in Anaheim, which is kind of the only thing that's there is a couple of food restaurants and Disneyland. So, but it was amazing. And of course, I took a little bit, some extra time to visit LA, Santa Monica, and some other neighboring cities. But it was amazing. It was literally like I studied at the East Coast. I traveled in the East Coast when I was traveling around playing tennis for the University of East Carolina. But the West Coast, first of all, the weather, stunning. Here in Belgium and the Netherlands, it's freezing. So
Come
that
on,
was
Willem,
great.
we know all that. You have way more to tell us, but you gotta tell me this one thing.
I have
what was it like?
more to tell you guys.
What was it like to drive in a driverless taxi with nobody behind the wheel? Because I thought that was an AI video you sent me of you.
No, AI Sora video was real life authentic footage. So I will, if the people are watching YouTube or looking at the video, you'll see now a video playing. So me and my colleagues, we were actually driving with the Waymo car, and multiple things were really stand out. First of all, when you take an Uber in LA, it's extremely expensive. Like for a 20-minute ride, you pay me like $100 or something, which is okay if you don't have any other way of moving, but it's better to get a car or actually a Waymo, because all the Waymos were literally 50% cheaper. So first of all, they don't have to pay the driver. They probably as well, can drive day and night. Plus as well, it's extremely efficient in where to pick up and so on. And the first time I booked one, was super excited. It arrived, and even on the top where kind of the LiDAR system is even my name. It was like a cab for Willem Himpe. So that was already magic, felt super personal. Then I entered, and before I connected my Spotify, immediately my own music playlist.
Awesome. Full blast, right? Without annoying the driver?
Without annoying the driver. I didn't have to listen to his CD playlist that he put together. So, and then as well, it started driving. And the funny thing was, in the beginning, I was stressed. Like, okay, there's no one on the wheel. I cannot intervene. I don't know what might happen. But by the end of the ride, I was super relaxed, and I was like, immediately felt like this is insane. I received my time back. It's actually not so difficult to drive, I felt like. So in a way, for a system that can see every single building, individual and car, okay, this is super difficult to create the system of self-driving. But in a way, LA or America was a good place to start because the roads are big.
Because you're allowed to.
Yes, and as well because you're allowed to.
You don't hate progress over there.
They don't hate progress over there. Plus as well, it's kind of, I don't know why, but the car itself was behaving like a person. And as well, sometimes when a person came from the right, it immediately sometimes accelerated. And the annoying thing was when I booked the second ride, it already felt normal. The magic, it's maybe the same with people that use ChatGPT or other stuff. It's in the beginning, it feels magic, but we humans, we kind of got used to progress and innovation so quickly that it's also a little bit sad that a self-driving car, even after the first ride, the second ride suddenly felt like, oh yeah, this is my new base level of autonomy. So that was kind of the best.
That's interesting. So you're alone in the car and you just start using your phone.
Yeah. And then The beginning I sat in front and I was like checking and just no on the steering wheel says do not touch the steering wheel, but I felt like in the need just to be
Mm.
sitting in front, so if anything goes wrong I can, like, teaching my little sister to drive, that I can intervene with the steering wheel, but I didn't have to. And then the second time I just said like, F it, let me sit in the back, relax on my phone, even my laptop I got out, I had to send some emails.
Sleep, who knows? Oh, wow.
Asleep. Yeah, it's sad thing you can now, or they're releasing it soon, that you can travel the whole all over, let's say all over California. And I immediately was thinking like, how can I be part of this business when it
Mm.
comes to Europe? Because this is it's going to be a game changer. Okay, it's going to be sad. A lot of people, taxi drivers, people driving trucks, other last mile delivery, and so on, will have to find a new job, but they will be upskilled and they will bring other new value to the economy instead of this repetitive task that was fully automated.
Yeah,
And
they
I
can
immediately,
manage a whole fleet going forward.
yeah,
And one way to turn this into a business is Tesla is planning to lease out their cyber cabs, their vehicle without a steering wheel, so you can be like a franchisee and have
mm,
it run, pick up people, but also people's orders like Uber Eats or Deliveroo, and have it run for you. So you make the investment, you buy the hardware, and I guess you have to maintain it, keep it charged, and keep it clean.
yeah. Well, that's amazing. And maybe one thought I had as well before we start with the episode, we have to, but this is a fun topic. I feel like I felt that the world became smaller. This might be a
Mm.
weird sentence, but because, for example, you could in the evening after Friday long day of work, you can jump in your car and immediately let it drive 8 hours to a whole different part of the state. Or if you're in Europe, you can literally for 8 hours drive all the way to
Mm.
another country. I have an amazing weekend. It's instead of you then sleeping in your bed, you can just sleep and rest in the car if it's a bit like a hotel room, but it drives you to your new destination, and it makes all the distances a lot shorter and smaller, because when you're not doing anything, you let AI, let's say, move your body to a new place. So
Mm.
it feels like instant. When you wake up, you're immediately in a whole new country or place. So that's why I felt like the world will be smaller, because everyone gets more time, but as well, when they're sleeping, they can travel and um, be instantly in another place when they wake up. So
From
that's a
the
little.
world of bits, zeros and ones to atoms, it's like when you're calling somebody overseas, they're there with you, and you're saying that the car is kind of physically bridging that gap now.
Yes,
That is interesting.
we still have the time gap because we still have to move our body. Like,
For now, yeah.
we cannot like put every single atom through a
Teleport,
cable
yeah.
and teleport to there. Maybe that will happen in the future. I don't think so, because in my opinion, we have to destroy ourselves and then recreate ourselves there, and will be something new. But all simulation and teleportation, let's say, predictions aside, I do feel like we as humans will be able to travel a lot more, be a lot more in person, because we, for example, we won't do an in-person meeting because we lose an hour time in traffic. But now we won't lose an hour in traffic. That whole hour when we're going to that meeting or to meet that friend, we can prepare, we can do other stuff on our phone and our devices. So it will feel like effortless to meet more people in person. So I think it'll bring people more together. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That brings us to our topic of today, which is, we in a bubble? Are we in an AI bubble? And
yes,
I think that one of the reasons why we can be optimistic and projecting forward is because, yeah, when I hear you talk about your experience, I'm like, wow, we, you know, we're using our phones today to navigate the information highway, to text people instantly, to call people from all over the world. And it sounds like robotics is gonna bring a lot of things from the digital age, from the internet age, to the physical world. And the question is, yeah, is this overhyped? Are we just hoping too much that things will fall into place, as long as we keep making the investments, as long as we keep betting the farm on AI? What was your feeling when you experienced real world AI after doing that?
So my experience when I felt real world AI, when a taxi was driving me, and as well I saw little food delivery robots driving all around LA, it felt like the economy or how we experience life could go twice or three times as fast. And so you could say that we get double, uh, we have double the time that we would usually have. So we easily can as well bring a lot more value to the economy or spend a lot more and grow, because a lot of certain tasks that were one day done by human are now fully automated in certain systems. So that creates a lot of time, effort, and human energy back that we can spend on new innovations
Hmm.
and grow and so on. And I believe, like, in my personal, what I see in the market, is there an AI bubble? Yes and no. I think yes, for example, OpenAI, and you have the companies, like I forgot the name now. The company
Nvidia,
where Nvidia, plus then as well the third company who's building a lot of the data centers, Oracle.
Cisco, Oracle.
Um, so Oracle, yeah. So these companies are extremely fast and in massive amounts investing in the infrastructure. It's kind of, they're already creating the highways before there is so massive adoption, because they're as well predicting that every person, every company will need a massive amount of a compute, massive amount of capabilities to automate certain things. So you could say, like, because they're investing so much and not sure yet, or it's not on an actual usage, that it won't happen. But based off the early results that they've delivered and how quickly ChatGPT became such a useful tool to people and making certain things possible, it is not a crazy investment. That's kind of why I think it's not an AI bubble. It just is, it comes very fast, and for some people it's scared, and it could be that there's a small correction here and there, but the potential and the real life use cases are there. They just need to be adopted by more and more companies, and the models need to get stronger so that it's more reliable. Just like the car, it will become more and more reliable and driving even longer and more difficult distances, instead of just in a city. So that's why I think we're not in an AI bubble. We're just in a phase laying the highway, so that we can, let's say, sprint
Yeah,
towards
it
a new.
sounds like it's very much worth it.
Hmm.
So the investment is warranted. Maybe our pace is off. Maybe some people are worried we're doing this too fast. Like, I do believe that a correction is gonna come. So there will be somewhat of a crash or a dip in a market, because that's just how markets behave in a wave with ups and downs. The cyclical nature of
Of
the
business or
markets
life.
has always, yeah, also has always been there, because there's no like crystal clear signal of um like belief in something. It's either the market is a little bit underhyped, or they're not seeing things yet. And I always talk about Tesla, but it's the same thing there.
Hmm.
They also have a self-driving option, and you might not be aware of it. It might not be on your radar, and then suddenly you experience it. So suddenly your level of hype goes up so much. Maybe it's just, yeah, it's the wow effect. It's your projections, it's your planning, it's your, oh, what am I gonna do with this 2x 3x time increase, doubling my time, and you start dreaming, and then maybe we hit a roadblock, and we're back. So a correction is bound to come, but it sounds like we can agree that the investment and the infrastructure is needed, and that it's worth it.
Yeah, I think this is a smart investment, because same way with the internet in the past as well. You had the internet bubble. People thought everything was gonna be done through the internet, but they were a bit too early. So then that bubble popped. But when you look today, actually they were quite right. Everything from ordering products, from entertainment to every aspect of life, the internet is such a major part of it, and we wouldn't be able to live without it. So there's always a little bit of a delay. We think it's going to come a lot earlier, but actually it comes later. It's just people need time to adapt to this new way of living, or this new world. And it's also they're investing in infrastructure. So it's not that they're investing in a startup ID, the new social media for dogs, let's say, and putting all that money in building features for an app that no one's going to use. That would be waste of money. It's still data centers. It's still, let's say, electricity cooling of these data centers and all of models that will help eventually. It's not investing into fluff, into something that has no real life value. So that's why I think
But we are waiting for the applications
true.
for the products, and that's probably where people kind of feel that this disconnect. They're like, yeah, but I can live without AI, and that's true, and we can all live like our grandparents used to live if we wanted to. The best example is our grandparents in a lot of cases still do.
Hmm.
They can still manage it, getting harder and harder, but they can still manage without a phone. They can still pay in cash. They can still order a regular taxi. Yeah, their vacuum, works. They can cook food the old-fashioned way. Not much has changed there. So yeah, if we
But
would
to
look back, yeah.
I would just say to add on that, and then we can go to the next topic, is if life becomes so much easier with this new technology, let's say with the internet an example, it's so easy to order food via the internet or to order any product or to search something. In the past, you want to know more about a topic, you need to drive with your car to the library, find a book, read that book, and then come back. Instead of one Google search, the effort becomes so much less to do that. And the same with AI. Any application in the real world or online, you can just ask something to do it, and it will do everything in a lot lower resources and time and money. And people will adopt because the incentive will be there, because their life will be a lot better and cheaper if they use it. So that's why I think eventually it just takes time before we get there.
Yeah, and people's habits will just drop. Like,
Yeah,
now you have access to the information, so actually you don't really care. So
true.
it's so, like you said, you got used to the taxi, you got used to the Waymo, not
Hmm.
having a driver there. We just get
Used to
we
it.
immediately are in the new normal, and yeah, we couldn't probably live without our phone anymore. It's just become part
Yeah.
of our life.
Last thing, imagine your car drives you everywhere around easy. You don't have to do anything, and then you have to go back. And instead of saving 3 hours a day, now you have to be 3 hours behind the wheel in traffic, not able to do anything, and just look at the rear view of a car. You would go crazy because you know this new normal that is way better. So you have people that maybe love it, driving and spending 3 hours in traffic and so on, and the world will probably make it possible that these people can do it, but majority will still take the road of the least amount of effort. But okay,
But the
maybe
funny thing is, though, is that the use cases aren't really new. They're sometimes amplifying, but when you look at each individual case, I could book a driver before it was more expensive. I could take my car, go to the parking lot. Like, let's say my car drives
hmm
itself. I would summon my car.
valet.
I would have it drive up to me. And for each individual case, it's possible for me to still cook myself, to clean things the old fashioned way. But if we add them all up in our daily habits, lifestyle, and routine, yeah, it would just be overwhelming not to be able to count on the things that we count on. Go get change and walk to a phone booth, or or even go to the other room to take a call.
hmm Yeah, it's insane, and we'll see how it will turn out. But maybe a little bit less about AI. Hopefully, it was clear kind of to everyone what our opinions are, what we think is going to go in the future. But maybe a little bit towards gossip, political corner. I feel like this is a one that Louis as well is passionate about, me as well. But a amazing thing that I love one city in particular. In my opinion, it's let's say the capital of capitalism, and that
Mm.
is New York City. And New York City has a new mayor, and this is Mr. Mondani. And he recently as well visited the White House with Trump, but he has very unique, let's say, insights or very unique ways how he wants to change New York City. And Louis, maybe let's say, what do you think? Is this going to be good for New York City and America or the world, or is this going to be bad? Mundani changing many, let's say, capitalistic ways of thinking, because he is quite a left-wing politician. Let me throw it back to you. Is it going to be good or bad?
So let's get it out of the way. Most of his policies are socialist and I think are bad because they're not going to help the city. But let's not focus on that. Let's just lay the groundwork. You're correct. Zoran Mondani won the election for New York. He is now the mayor elect. He was recently invited to the White House, which made me think, even though him and Trump have different
A
views and
positive views, yeah.
yeah, different backgrounds, like they call each other names. Like Trump calls him a communist, and he calls him like a despot or something. They are very similar in that they kind of talk to the people, not necessarily as men of the people, but they focus on real issues. Now, Manami's solutions do sound quite communist, like a state-run grocery store that has never worked. But he does press on the real pains for a lot of people, saying like things are too expensive. So I don't think his policies will work. But it was really interesting to then have him be invited to the White House, and people were super surprised because he ended up getting along with Trump very well. Trump liked him. So what's up with
Hmm.
that?
Well, yeah, I think I'll let you. I'll get back to you. It's like you can always like a person based on their personality, but you don't always have to not like a person because you don't like his policies or his way of thinking. So that's maybe a one phrase. Or what do you think? Why did Mondani and Trump liked each other?
Well, he's charismatic, and people
Hmm.
were asking the question: "Hey, is it just because like Trump thinks he's impressive? Maybe Trump thinks I wish my sons were were that way because Trump is charismatic himself, but or maybe he's in love with him. People they're suggesting. But Scott Adams, full credit to him, came up with the most interesting theory. He said that Trump, unlike any other person in the world, managed to make the situation about himself. He managed to take this impossible sounding thing because you have to remember a lot of people are fans of Mandami and think like are going to the No Kings protest are anti-Trump because all the voters that voted for Mandami are quite left leaning and they're the exact supporters of the exact opposite party of Trump. They would have voted for Kamala or Biden. So the only way that this guy, this young guy at the peak of his prowess, of his charismatic power, he could only basically win. He had everything to win and nothing to lose by going to the White House because he's only been like a citizen for 4 years or something. So this guy swoops in out of anonymity in the running for mayor, is gonna become the mayor of Trump's city, New York City, gets invited to the White House, and still Trump, because he looked impressed and in love with him, Trump was like, "Yeah, I support you," and people are like, "What?" But in the end, the attention went to Trump. So yeah, that was a particular theory that I'm starting to believe. Like Trump just managed to. He's always a deal maker. He's a dice
Hmm.
player, and if you get along with him, even if your policies are radically different, even if you were fighting a little bit like brothers, is like I support you. So I don't know what you think, but most interesting theory.
Yeah, well, I'll go back to my theories. Like they are two very big characters that know how to grab the attention of the media and grab attention of the people. So I think that's how they respect each other. And I don't think they agree upon their policies that they will put out from either way. And that's kind of like, yeah, you don't have to like a person's policies or a way of thinking to like him as a man or as an individual. Agree to disagree, what I would say. And one thing that I actually would want to add as well is like Mondani. He's a great character, and you see that more and more in young people. They believe that they're doing good by, let's say, like you said, state-run grocery stores or make public transport free for everyone. The thought is amazing, but if you extrapolate that idea to long term and you really look at economies that have tried doing that, Maybe in some small economies it works, but usually it is not, let's say, a good way to run, because the state is intervening in a business that needs to run efficiently and profitable. And if you're not, let's say, have the scaredness of bankruptcy, or you you just know that the state will always pay your bills, and how inefficiently you will run the public transport, or let's say the state-run
That's right.
grocery thing,
Good
it doesn't
example.
matter. So
Imagine if the DMV, the place where you get your driver's license as America, if those people were running the grocery store. Just think
mhm,
about it. Wherever you live, anytime you have to interact with the government, the process is slow and sometimes very stupid. And
mhm,
that's just because it's an organization that's based on consensus. It's governing us all. Yes, we vote and we disagree and we debate, but in the end, we have to get along and agree on certain rules. And that's why, like, the law is very slow, to implement things, and people aren't really enthusiastic to make change in a monopoly, because like you said, the state cannot go bankrupt, and especially in an industry like grocery stores, food stores, where the margins are already so low, like 2 or 3%. You need something that the state doesn't have, which is competition.
mhm,
You need people that are constantly looking to survive, like doing discounts
mhm,
left and right, looking to optimize the process, and that need that incentive, to become a manager, to serve many people, because they know if they don't do that, the store won't survive, people won't be coming back. And if you take that away, you can only do it for things that are required, for like passports,
yeah,
government issued things. And then, because that takes some time, because there's just no other way. You can't have a grocery store for passports. So we'll see about that. I do have to blame the media here. It's incredibly childish and dangerous not to call out that these socialist and, in some cases, communist inspired ideas would work here. It's been debunked. I think it's just catering to the masses. It's a real form of populism, and it's just a way to say nice things, to say things that sound cool, but that don't
mhm,
work as soon as you apply them in the real world or do some second order thinking. And I find it incredible that the media still writes about these things as if they could ever work.
yeah. Well, one final thought that I wanted to share is from a famous investor, the business partner of Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger,
Mhm.
is show me the incentives and I'll show you the behavior. So the same with this is, if you don't have any incentive to change and make your grocery store efficient, it won't happen. And I just came back from America, and I saw as well in downtown LA a lot of people having drug addictions with fentanyl and so on. It's not amazing to, of course, it is terrible, and there's where the state needs to intervene, and where a profitable or a business that's focused on profit is not gonna do that. So really focus as a government, I would say, on the things that you should change and the certain things that you should let the free market do, because their positive incentives will create positive and great behavior. And we're
Don't
not
Yeah,
living. Mhm,
yeah. Show me the incentives, and I'll show you the outcome. Is such a great quote, and my favorite illustration of it is in India. They wanted to get rid of snakes,
mhm,
too many snakes swimming around. So the government said, "Hey, I'm gonna intervene as the monopoly, and I'm gonna hand out €5, €5 equivalent for each dead snake that you bring me." Sounds very reasonable. I think you know where
mhm.
I'm going with this. People heard of a new incentive. Wait a second. If I bring one snake, I get €5. If I bring 10 snakes, I bring €50. This is
Ka-ching,
interesting.
ka-ching,
That's
ka-ching,
an interesting
ka-ching.
incentive. Incentives sound good, right? Well,
Mhm.
you know what eventually happened, of course, is people started breeding snakes just to kill them. So in the end, it created even more snakes than before, because Charlie Munger tells us, show me the incentive, show me the reward. Show and the reward was money. People will optimize for that money, and so it's easy to just predict what the outcome is going to be. It just takes some time, and I think it's very lazy and hypocritical of the media not to explain that this is going to happen for that, or he's not going to implement this policy, so he's running on air.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. We had a little bit of technology and a little bit of real life facts on the ground of America. Plus, as well, a little bit of political gossip, or let's say what is actually happening and what we feel like is going to go down over there in New York City. Well, hopefully you guys
NYC, baby.
enjoyed it.
Don't take
NYC.
my baby.
Perfect. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we would love to see you back on another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast
Podcast.
with Louis Debaere and Willem Himpe. See you soon, guys.